Hello, beautiful beings. I just wanted to check in and share a little bit of what's in my heart. I hope that it will be in some way helpful or um, entertaining or just pleasant for whoever might see it and hear it. And yeah, I wanted to share a little bit about keep on keeping on with the path of the work, the inner work, to be the change that at many times the path seems very dark and desolate and lonely and difficult and impossible, basically. Impossible. Like, am I ever going to be free from my suffering? And although I'm sure I am lifetimes away from being completely free from suffering, um, I can say that I suffer less as I do the work, and I'm able to measure it by different experiences or things that triggered me in the past that help me see how little I suffer today as opposed to 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 20 years ago or um, even a few weeks ago. And yeah, I just want to remind people that no matter where you are on your own path, um, if you keep staying focused on your truth and your authenticity and your integrity, um, no matter how dark it gets, things do transform, and we learn to let go and how to live better and with more peace, even though there are very trying situations and conditions all around us, just in our own personal lives and then in the greater, perspective of the whole world and how that influences us. So I encourage everybody to keep staying on the path that you're on, if it's bringing you to a place that you want to go. And just for me, what's made it easier and easier is by having embodiment practices and meditation. And essentially for me, meditation is just training the mind to become present with what's happening at the physical level and learning how to separate from the noise and all of the dialogue that's going on in my head that takes me to places that, end up causing suffering. So I invite you to spend more time checking in with your respiration, checking in with what you're feeling at the physical level. So if I'm afraid of, something happening, like, oh, I hurt myself, and maybe it'll turn into something worse than this, visible outcome. Maybe it agitated something deeper and will turn into something much worse, and I start to obsess about that and worry about that. At the same time, that's something that the conditioned mind is going to do if we have that pattern. But at the same time, start to bring some attention to the physical level. So while I'm having these obsessive, worried thoughts, I can also go, how is my chest feeling at this moment? What is my breath like? Am I breathing? Oh, let's see. Okay, I'm breathing. And I can feel my chest area, and maybe it's feeling a bit tight, or maybe I'm feeling some pressure, or maybe I'm feeling like air kind of vibration frequency thing that's like shaking, like this nervousness, but at the physical level, not at just the mental level. And to just do that more often. Whenever something is going on, it can be pleasure, it can be pain. It doesn't really matter what it is. But just bringing the attention to the respiration and then observing and seeing what's happening there, and then checking in with the body and seeing what's going on there. I mean, maybe even you just check in with your jaw, because sometimes the jaw clenches. And just noticing that. and becoming more aware of that. Because then that leads us to self-awareness. And what happens over time, or has happened for me anyway, is that it becomes a more automatic response rather than I have a thought that triggers some obsession or some kind of unhappy feeling or sensation. And I just go on with the thoughts like, oh, that person did this and they said that they were going to call, but they didn't call. And why didn't they call? Because they're so inconsiderate and they're just think about themselves and they just do all what. Now I'm going down a path of like total suffering and just I'm actually building on the pain. So the first pain was like, oh, they didn't call. And then it just increased and increased and increased by my thinking, me fueling that pain, giving it more and more. And a really great visual is like, imagine that we have, each one of us has like a campfire burning inside. And that's a fire that has all of our like anger and jealousy and hate and greed and all these like negative emotions. But it's also all of the positive things, the things we cling to. So like the pleasure and the fun and the excitement and the the money and the shopping and the entertainment and the sex and all these things. That's this campfire here. And it's just burning there. And what happens when you don't give any more fire kindling to the campfire, or any more wood to the campfire, it just burns out. And so that is the goal, is like we have this campfire that wants to burn out, but what we do is we say, oh, campfire's there burning, I have my good things, my bad things all going there that I don't want and that I cling to. And then something happens that sparks something in the campfire and it starts like moving a bit more, say like wind hits it, but it's actually, somebody didn't show up when they were supposed to show up, or the, plumber like ruined your bathroom instead of fixing it, or, somebody's sick, or somebody else, disappointed you, or somebody else abused you, or something like that. So that kind of something happens, and then so instead of just watching the campfire that got activated because of whatever it was that was negative, I take gasoline and pour it on the campfire. And now I'm like blasting, blazing so much. And my job was just to watch the campfire burn out. But I can never let it burn out if I keep putting more fuel on it. So if we can look at like our reactions, our mental and emotional reactions to external situations and conditions, as that campfire, then I can be more in touch when something does happen. Go, oh, let me just watch my campfire, instead of getting all upset, acting out, throwing back bombs when people throw them at me, and making that campfire just grow. So then in the future I have more crap that I have to deal with. So by putting more attention on the physical, I end up having more awareness when things are hard and things are surprising or things are disappointing. I have more self-awareness. So then instead of me just going, you're an idiot, why are you so inconsiderate? Why are you so selfish? Why don't you think about me? Why did you tell that person this thing? Why did you, that thing, going outward, taking all my campfire and basically throwing it outside. First, the attention goes to the campfire. And then I also have those thoughts. They don't just go away. It's not like they're just eliminated forever because I started watching my campfire. No, they still are there. But I have more attention focused on my campfire and knowing that my job is to let it burn out, rather than linking onto those thoughts and like throwing things outside of me to the situation or the condition that just came up to teach me how unstable, imbalanced, out of line, disconnected from nature, whatever it is that I am, right? Because no matter what the situation is outside, that always changes. but the feelings inside are always the same. And they keep coming up to show us, look at where I am. Look at where my mind is. Look at what I'm doing. Instead of, look at what they're doing. Look at how they aren't right. Look at how they need to change. What about me? How about I be the change? How about I start to correct what is imbalanced and unstable inside of me? And then, little by little, like, I've seen major advances in my life recently and in the lives of many people around me, which is really reassuring and encouraging, because, you know, if you look out at the greater picture, it's like, oh my God, world's going to hell, and nobody cares, and nobody's doing the work, and nobody's doing it. You know, it looks like that a lot of the times, and I know that everybody's doing what they can at that moment, and so I just should worry about me, and what am I doing, and how can I help, and how can I be a better example. So yeah, I hope that this serves somebody, and is somehow helpful in some way. And if not, it was just for my own self-reflection. But I hope that wherever you are, this finds you enjoying your day and with a heart full of love, and yeah, knowing that if we just keep on keeping on, we do transform, and we can be the change, and we can help contribute to something better in this world. And others see that, and it rubs off and creates a ripple effect. And also, in case you haven't heard me 1,000 times before mention, that a daily gratitude practice is one of those, like, machines at the gym for your spiritual self and emotional well-being and mental well-being. So if anybody's interested in joining us, we meet 3 times daily. We've been meeting for almost 2 years now, every single day, in the Hug Room with Hug Nation. I'll put the link in the description of this video, and we'd be happy to have you. It's served us so much, everybody who's in the group, and not everybody comes every day. You don't have to share if you don't want. You can just listen. You don't have to put on your video. You can just listen. It would be good to announce in the chat, like, hey, I'm, so-and-so, and I'm just going to, listen. So it's, that people know that this person came to the gratitude circle. They weren't like, I don't know, just not there for that reason. But yeah, it's something that helps a lot with keeping the focus and being persistent and keep on keeping on. So thank you for listening. Hope you are well. Much love.